To see everybody on today. We are actually going to look at, I have a couple things lined up. Hopefully, we can get to them all. So, today we're going to talk. Our first topic comes from Ramza on there, and he titled it, What That Market Do. I'm guessing that is slang for a look at the market. Uh, he put shake my head. So we're gonna take a look at the stock market and see what at least the Magnificent Seven is doing. If you're not familiar with that, that's Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Tesla, Apple, Meta, Google. We're gonna take a look at news from them. I'll get a little ahead of myself. Nvidia, and this was last week or the week prior. I don't remember, but I didn't mention this. But they became the first $5 trillion market cap company. Apple being the first $1 trillion market cap company, but Nvidia has come through and really blown them out of the water. And I put a very good video into Discord if you are fortunate enough to be in this group from Mark Tilbury, where he talks about I think I put it here. I think I was watching it last week, Saturday, where he talks about how it's like a circular economy with all of them. And I might even play that one so you guys can see. Um, he talks about how Nvidia's making, maybe I didn't post it, I'm not sure. Well, he talks about how Nvidia makes the GPUs and the chips that Apple uses, that Microsoft uses, that Amazon, Tesla, Meta, Google, they all use those. And then, so they're buying from Nvidia, and then Nvidia buys the semiconductors from TSM that makes like 90% of the world's semiconductors. Um, it was some kind of way they were all paying each other, basically. Not just recycling the same money. Obviously, within consumers, there's new money coming into the circle, but let's say they're largely cycling the same $100 million, right? Because Peter's paying Paul, Paul's paying Matthew, Matthew's paying Luke, Luke's paying Peter. Is pretty much how it's going. But then they also have people giving money into them because let's not be crazy and not think Apple's not making iPads, right? iPad. So who gives Apple money so that they can cycle more money in that economy? The end consumer. So anyway, the next thing I want to take a look at because ChatGPT just got installed. Nice. I want to actually start playing with AI live on camera for y'all because I want y'all to see that AI is the now and it's going to continue into the future. But I'm not going to get ahead of myself with that one. And feel free, we can mic up, we could say stuff, we could talk about. I want to hear from y'all what investments y'all got going, what ideas, if y'all want to share anything like that. Um, I'm going to try to use ChatGPT to summarize an earnings call. All right. So I want to show y'all just how simple this could be. So if you have ChatGPT and you're in the chat, you could actually try this. So any of the Fantastic Seven, let's use one of them. If you want to try this with me, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Tesla, Apple, Meta, and Google, or TSM, I don't care. Just see if you can, if any of them have done their earnings calls. Let's try and summarize one. I do want to talk about I'll save that one for later. I do want to talk about Start Engine. Start Engine keeps sending me emails, and from what I know about Start Engine, and I've seen one of the sharks on Shark Tank. He keeps talking about this in like a commercial I see on YouTube. Start Engine seems to be a place where um, they have a lot of business startups. I won't say it's all tech. There he is. That's him right there. Kevin O'Leary. Stop. What is happening? Kevin O'Leary. This guy right here is one of the sharks from Shark Tank. I saw him championing this. So maybe he was one. Maybe they came on Shark Tank and they pitched this idea. Maybe he was one of the sharks that said, "Hey, yes, that's Mr. Fantastic. Yep, that's what he calls himself." Um, why does he call himself that? Do you know? Wasn't Mr. Fantastic a wrestler or something? No, Mr. Wonderful. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's what he calls himself. So, what we want to do is we want to look at Start Engine because Start Engine has, to my knowledge, um, they have a lot of companies that utilize crowdfunding for their startup capital, their funding rounds. They use crowdfunding. If you're not familiar with what that is, um, it's the opposite to what regular private companies do, where they only allow accredited investors to invest in their companies, which, again, let's go over it. You have to have $1 million net worth, and it cannot be your primary residence. Um, oh, Mr. Wonderful. Okay, I thought it was Mr. Fantastic, something like that. Mr. Wonderful. It cannot be your primary residence, but you have to have $1 million net worth. You have to be earning $200,000 a year if you're single, $300,000 a year if you are married, and for 2 years, and you have to be on pace to earn that the third year as well before you can be an accredited investor. There's that. Let's see what the chat is telling about. Mr. Wonderful, he's not Reed Richards from Fantastic Four. Well, we knew that. Thank you, good sir. Mr. Wonderful, he made millions with Apple after he had one of the biggest Toy Stories in the world. If I'm not mistaken, and that name came from that bit. Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know that. Chat, do y'all have anything you want to mic up and say before we get it rolling? Anything you want to cover? If you don't want to mic up, that's fine. You can throw it in the chat. I see y'all are using it already, but if not, I'm gonna get started. Okay, Rams, it looks like you're talking, but you're muted. Oh, there you go.
So hey, I do use chat for earnings calls and summarization of information. Can you hear me all right?
Sure can.
Okay, so I do use it. I even used it this morning to ask about the projections moving forward to see if to see what companies could. I'm sorry, there was a long
for what company?
Many different. So I said, what companies are hit right now the strongest by the shutdown, and therefore which companies would be good to invest in now? And then I asked it to show me how far they dipped so that we can look anywhere between the big ones like Delta Airlines, American Airlines, Apple, blah, blah, blah. And then also a little bit of the smaller companies to see what has been impacted by this shutdown so that I can appropriately strategize and place some option calls so that I can start making more profit for the coming boom.
Okay.
And it was important to me to know what policies, like is the federal rate not set yet because of the shutdowns, for interest, for loans.
Oh, that's right.
For So if that's the case, then the outcome of that is going to help determine um, favorable or not, or whatever the new rate is. That's when banks are going to start hitting. Right now, I've been getting offers where we typically have a static rate or a set interest rate. They've started sending offers for variable interest rate. And I believe that's because they can't set a certain rate right now. And I could be wrong on this, but I thought it was due to the fact that they can't set a certain rate and lock it in stone, because that depends on when they come back and say, this is the rate interest you can charge for this year.
Okay.
But
I'm
yeah,
not exactly certain. Um, but that's good info. So what kind of, if you have used it to summarize earnings calls, can you do a screen share from when I'm live? Can you do screen share?
I believe we've done that before. Yeah, I think I
Yeah, I
can.
think we have. Yeah. So I tell you what, when we get to that segment, if you want to do a screen share of like a summary of one of the companies that maybe chat or another one gave you, that's fine. We'll do that. We could look at yours.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start what that market do, thanks to him. And let's look at what that market do. So right now, if you look at the past week, take a look at my portfolio, and then I'm going to Google actually what the whole market did. But as transparent as I am, I want you guys to not just see me as a floating head. Some of you, and I do this on Discord, thank God, because a lot of you know me in real life. Um, Market health. I'll just leave it at that. So a lot of you know me in real life, so you know I'm not just a floating head on YouTube. That's why the Discord group it was grown organically, right? Just people that I met and knew, and that brought people that they met and knew. So it was really grown organically. So let's look. In the past week, lost 20 grand. Ain't no two ways about it, folks. Past week down 20 grand. Past month down 23 grand. That's what that market do. And it was even worse. If you look right here, October 22nd, it was down 25. I've been down November 7th as much as 32 grand. But you know why I'm not sweating it? I'll tell you why I'm not sweating it. Because the market has not done what it's supposed to do um, over the course of this year. Hold on. I'm gonna go to it right now. So this is the oops. Here we go. This is the tab I want to show you guys. Now I went over this before with you, but let's look at the whole year's calendar, right? And let's look at what that market actually do. Thank you, Mr. Ramza, for your title. I rather enjoy this incorrect grammar. So let's take it all the way back a year ago when the presidency happened, right? When Trump was announced as the 47th president, when he won the election last November, the market boomed, right? If we do, where are we at? And I'm just going to show you a look at my portfolio. I was all the way back at, so if you really want to know, right, click 1 year and go all the way back to this day last year, right? Look at where my portfolio was in November. Now, if you can't understand why I'm not panicking when my portfolio's been up as high as like 123 grand, um, that's quadruple what it was a year ago today. And this is why I tell you guys, you gotta invest in the market, invest long term. It's gonna go up. You will see. Just believe in it. I was at $32,922.90 November 8th, 2024. There it is. You see it. There's my portfolio, right? And this is my main one because this is Robinhood. This is my champion stock in my portfolio. Now let's look. Look at election time. Look at the market booming, 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 right? Even up to November 30th, I'm up 7 grand, 19%. Now through December. Now, here's the thing. It's supposed to boom in December because of all of the holiday spending. But I must have been invested in something really good because my portfolio from November 8th to, let's look at December 1st. Is December 1st on here? Yeah. 39 grand to what? 46? 46 grand. I had a great run up in December. Now, if you look, January is supposed to continue because you have all of the holiday, the after Christmas sales. But January, it dropped off. But if you remember, I'm still up 7 grand at this point, or six. It says it right there, 6 grand. But here it comes back in January like it's supposed to, because January is relatively great for the market. And then on the 31st, 47. Not bad. I was at 50 something. This isn't, and I need people to understand, this isn't Vegas. So when it's up, you're not looking to sell your stuff. And then I don't do that throughout the year. Look, set a recurring buy for the stocks that you believe in, dollar cost average all year long, and you will get the average of it. So you don't have to play up and down. Because what if it doesn't come down until, what if it was at 50? You sold it because you bought in at 20, and then it runs up to 100. You wait till it comes down. Now you have to buy in at 70. That's where the floor is. And it starts going up from there. Now you can't get back in lower than what you bought it for or sold it for, right? So you can play with fire and get burned sometimes. So anyway, now the start of the new year, February, it's going up 23 grand. Now come all the way down. Now tariffs get announced, right? Now I'm below what I started with in November, down to 27 grand. And I'm not panicking because here's what happened. March 25th. Here we go. What is it? April 7th? April 7th, April 8th. April 8th was the bottom. Probably bottom of the market is the bottom of my portfolio. I'm down $15,000. I'm down to 17 grand. Now, why didn't I panic here? Because I actually had buying power. As you can see it on the screen right there, 36 G's. I had buying power. And what I did was buy. And so now watch, once we start crawling out of this hole, okay, I'm up, down again, up. Look, we're climbing this mountain. Oh, we broke 60 grand in June. Where were we at? For my birthday, where were we at? I can't get the day. Come on. Is June 9th even on here? Maybe it's not on it. I don't know. I can't get it. Anyway, we're climbing, up 70 grand, 80 grand in July, which is historically the best month for the market, right? Now it's supposed to drop down in August, but look what it did. It went way up in the mid-August, right? It dropped off a little bit, but actually from July's peak was 87. Let's see, August's low was, okay, so it dropped off a little bit for August. But if you look at this, the market as a whole did not drop in August. I'm actually going to Google this. It's not just about my portfolio, but this is how you pay attention to how it actually works in real life. Look at your own portfolio, right? And especially the sectors that you're invested in. Now, September, it went down a bit, and then look at what it did. It came roaring back in September, and it gave us good pace for October. And October, it didn't fall either. I'm up in the in six-figure range now, right? So if you really, really think about it, I'm not going to panic right now because I bought the dip. And let me tell you something. When you say buy the dip, it's nuanced. You really need to show and tell what that means. But if when tariffs got announced, The market was not supposed to have this drastic drop right here. It wasn't supposed to have this. This was not supposed to be here, right? This was quite a stupendous drop, and it was because, all right, look here, Curtis, you need to calm down. Y'all don't even know. Y'all see me checking my phone. There's your hint, hint, wink, wink. This guy is off his rocker. But anyway, this drop right here was not supposed to happen, but this is why you have to pay attention to the news, right? I don't like watching the news. It's CNN. It's all CNN, constant negative news. There was a school shooting over here, and we don't even make a big deal about it anymore, like Columbine, because it happens so often. This rapper's talking about that rapper. There was a car chase. Somebody died over here. There was a fire over there. It's just constant negative news, right? They talk about what's happening overseas. More missiles get launched, stuff like that. However, you do need to pay attention to what's going on in the news. And I'll tell you why, because it absolutely will affect your bottom line. It will affect what's going on in the market. Those tariffs, people might have thought that's boring. I don't care about that. I don't even like the president. I'm not talking about me. I'm just saying people might say that. I don't even like the president. I don't care what he's talking about. Yeah, but if you're an investor, you should have cared. And if you didn't care, you paid for it, because what happened is your portfolio dropped off the face of the earth. And you know what most people did right here? That's why I'm leaving the cursor here. They sold. They sold. They absolutely sold. And because they sold, they lost all this money. You see, I didn't lose anything because I didn't sell right here. You do not sell when it's low. You buy low, you sell high. But I'm just going to say buy low, because why are you selling? I'm sorry, did you need the money for, you're not paying rent with this money. This is invested. What are we selling it for, right? I remember 2015, I had a junior sailor. He was probably an E2. So he had just joined. He was an E2. He drove up to work with a 2015 Dodge Charger. Now, it didn't have all the bells and whistles, but it was a Dodge Charger. He was about, what was he, 22, 23 years old, maybe? Maybe he was about I think he was old enough to drink. He was probably 22, 23. And he's from AZ, and he said that I was getting on to him about it, and I'll just skip all the details about wasting money. I've been on this for a long time. I was 29 at that point, right? And he said, whoa, 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 AC1, before you start in, I was a first class. He was like, look, I didn't buy this car. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm going off. He's like, look, my grandparents cashed out some of their dividends, gave me the money, and they bought the car. And I was like, no further questions, Your Honor. And see, that's the kind of old money that we can create, but you have to have the vision on doing that today, right? All right, so the market in the past week has been terrible, horrible, as you want, as the French would say. But here's the thing: is it naturally dipping, or is it something in society making it dip? And so that's what we need to find out, right? So look, November 7th, probably the worst. So this was yesterday. Yeah, 29 G's down at one point in time. So what is causing the market to dip right now? Let's see. Let's see if Google will tell me. Actually, if one of you want to use AI, please AI this real quick, and then share your screen, please. The stock market to dip. All right. So let's see what Google says. And then if any of you are using AI, we'll look at what it says. So recent stock market dips have been caused by a combination of geopolitical tensions, concerns about high interest rates, Let's stop there. Let's break this down. Geopolitical tensions. Now, we know there are countries in the world right now who are at odds with each other. Some of them fire missiles at each other. You have to start looking at business and look at government, look at what businesses are tied to the government. Palantir being one of them, and it's a radically rising company, a tech company, right? Um, and I say radically rising, like Palantir's gains for the past 2 years have been off the chain. You could have bought a share of Palantir 2 years ago in the single digits. You can't now. I'll leave it at that. Um, and they have a lot of government contracts. So geopolitical tensions, when you talk about TSM, with the People's Republic of China always threatening to take Taiwan back. I don't know if they took back Hong Kong. Hong Kong was a British territory for a long time. I don't know if they took it back, but with them always threatening to take it back, investors want to pull out of TSM whenever tensions heat up with Taiwan, which the U.S. says, this is our little brother. You ain't taking them back. So there's geopolitical tensions there with TSM, which is why we're going to get in. This one is not in the Magnificent Seven. However, come on, my speaker turned off. Hold on. There we go. All right, so TSM America News. I'm Googling things so beat up that you guys can see just how non primp and proper you can Google things and find the information. Because really, you could do TSM US expansion or TSM Arizona, right? Because that's where it is. But it will tell you this is why we started building the factory for TSM in Arizona, right? So not to get too far off into that, but there we go. Okay, so let's keep going. Concerns about high interest rates. You know, the Feds were supposed to do 3 interest rates at the last 2 quarters of the year. They did 1, and I think it was a half of a point. And so there was 2 more, I think, that was scheduled or talked about, and they probably won't do it because we'll just skip disappointing company earnings and go straight to government shutdown. Government shutdown. It's now been the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Now you could even Google that. Longest, let's see, government shutdown ever. Look, here we go. Longest government shutdown in U.S. history. And it's all here. So Google can be your best friend. But if we talk about, let's go back to company earnings. I have not looked at company earnings. I've been extremely busy this past 3 weeks, almost like a month, because things have been going on family wise. But I did see a message, and it's on my phone here, and I looked for it on the desktop for Robinhood, and I couldn't find it. So QBTS is D Wave Quantum. So I can go to that really quickly, and y'all might know I am invested in this. And it showed me a notification that they missed their earnings, right? Now, right away, if you pay attention to the screen, you can see why I'm not even concerned with them. Look at the dip they took down to $26. Now it's back at 30. Not concerned, because look at where I bought it. $6.06. And see the amount of shares? Not worried about it. Hyper concentrate into the companies that you believe in. And look, this is less than 5% of my stock portfolio, but it still got me up $6,000 total, right? Now let's look. Let's go down here. This is what I'm trying to show you guys. You don't have to panic if you buy low. So I got a message that they missed their earnings, and look, by a lot. So this is where they were estimated to be at -7 cents per share. They were actually negative 41 cents per share. Look at that gap. They actually missed their earnings by a lot. Now, the thing to do is figure out when they're going to when they're going to conduct their earnings call, which I'm looking for here, and I don't think they did their earnings call yet. And you could actually watch the earnings call. I think now you have to give a lot of time to watching earnings calls. Um, but I personally think that it's actually a great thing to listen to earnings calls because you actually learn so much more. But as time goes on, they're probably going to just use AI to summarize it because people aren't going to take the time to do that. So let's see. Q3. Let's see. They reported on the 6th, but I don't see it on Robinhood. Um, I'll look for it, but I actually want to cover some of these other companies that we haven't covered before. Chat, feel free to throw in something, or if you have something, you can actually mic up and go ahead. Um, I guess explaining all of this I've taken a lot of time on this, but this is what's causing the dip in the market right now, right? Um, these things right here. So if you ever are uncertain why is the market dipping, take to Google it, AI it, and then go for those articles. There was another thing about tariffs, and it talks about it here. Renewed threats of U.S. tariffs on China combined with events like China semiconductor export restrictions on parts used by Volkswagen have spooked investors. So if you're a VW investor, I used to be. I don't think I invest in anything with wheels now, other than Boxable because they have the tiny box, and that is RV coded because it does have wheels on it. Other than that, gasoline and wheels, that's out for me. During COVID, I did invest in that sector when it came to aviation, like American Airlines and things of that nature. But nah, I'm out of that sector now. Let's check some of these fantastic 7. Let's look at Microsoft. Actually, I'm investing in Microsoft. I could have just scrolled to that. Let's see. Microsoft in the past week, they are down $20, almost 4%. In the past month, they're down $27, almost 28, down 5%. Let's check AMD. AMD is not in the Magnificent 7, but it's like honorable mention. If you had a fantastic 10, I'd say AMD might be there. AMD's down 8% in the past week. Now, you know we have to do NVIDIA. NVIDIA, this $5 trillion market cap company. Past month, it's actually up less than 1%. But the past week, down 7%. Now, again, if you did not know that NVIDIA hit $5 trillion, you're not paying attention. NVIDIA should be a part of your portfolio. I'm just going to say that. That is my opinion. I think NVIDIA should absolutely be in your portfolio. Here's some of the Fantastic 7 right here. I don't even have to Google it or search the next one. NVIDIA's it's been more than fantastic. Since January, it's up 39%. Year over year, it's up 27%. The past 5 years, 1,400%. Don't you wish you had gotten in then? I actually got in 2021. I didn't get in 2020. I wish I had. But that's what we're trying to avoid by doing this show. You watch this show, you get this knowledge, and you when you look back will say, I'm glad I did, not I wish I had. All right, let's go look at Amazon. In the past month, they're actually up 10%. Let's go. AMZ. In the past week, look, they beat the dip. They beat the dip. You talking about buy the dip? They beat the dip. DIP, by the way, if I'm not enunciating, because that could sound real crazy, and I'm not that crazy. Look at Bezos. That's Jeff Bezos. If you don't know who Jeff Bezos is, if you don't know what he looks like this rather bald man right here. This is him. And some of these guys, y'all need to get accustomed to knowing. You know, it. I'll tell you what's sad. The last time I had Amazon was last year. I sold it, but I'll tell you what's sad. Earn Your Leisure. They do. They've done 5 so far, I think. This thing called Invest Fest. Ooh, and look, Amazon's earnings call is up here, so we can actually replay that one. I'm not going to, but it's up here. Earn Your Leisure does Invest Fest in August every year. And like 2 years ago, maybe 3, they said that oh, what's his name? See, now I'm drawing a blank. Dan Cathy. Dan Cathy walked through, I might spell it wrong too. Nope, I'm spelling it right. There he is. Dan Cathy walked through the vending marketplace. This guy right here. Who is this? Do y'all know who this is? If you didn't see it already, who is this? This guy is the CEO of Chick-fil-A. People don't even, he walked through the vending marketplace. Nobody shook his hand. Nobody talked to him. Nobody knew who this guy, wow, calm down. Nobody knew who this guy was. And that's the thing. They could be walking, it's so sad. They could be walking among you in Costco with you and you would have no idea who they are. And they're walking, I don't even know what to call them because encyclopedia is would not be the correct term, but they're walking businessmen. They're walking wealth of knowledge. They're walking well of knowledge. They could be right beside you and you have no clue because but if Kevin Durant was walking next to you, past the fact that he's a 7-footer, right? He's not. I think he's like 6'10", but whatever. I don't care. Anybody that's over like 6'3", you're a 7-footer in my book. I'm 5'10". You know what I'm talking about? So it was sad. They were talking about it, but we know who Kevin Durant is. We know who Chris Brown is. We know who Waka Flocka Flame is. We know who Fetty Wap is. We know who Sexy Red is. We don't know who Dan Cathy is. A CEO walking next to you. They had no idea who he is. I should have gone over some of the CEOs when they passed by, but he's no longer the CEO. Jeff Bezos is not. It is Andrew Jassy. Jeff Bezos, I think, stepped down last year when he was getting divorced. But I think he's still the chairman, though. So make no mistake, he's not all the way out of a company that he founded. I think he's still the chairman. And for that matter, Warren Buffett, you probably heard his name. What does he look like? He's a 95-year-old white dude with glasses. He still has hair. It's white and it's sparse. But we have to start being familiar with these CEOs. His birthday's in August, by the way. And look at that. I didn't lie to you. He kind of sounds like this, but you got to listen real close to understand him. But he's 95. You know what I mean? The guy's almost a century old. You have to know these people, man. You have to know who they are because this man could be walking by you on the street and would give you all the time of the day if you just said hello. He'd probably stand there and impart some knowledge onto you. But if you just see him as an old white dude with glasses, you wouldn't even know. My favorite quote in investing and in I won't say in life because those are probably more scriptural than anything, me being a Christian and all. But one of my favorite quotes in life and in finance is his, because the way in which you run your finances based off of what I'm about to say is you have to live it first and then you will have the finances first. But he said, if you do not find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. That's the man I'm quoting right there. That's him, Warren Buffett. So we have to start being familiar, like Jensen Huang. He's NVIDIA's CEO. Be familiar with these people because Another way you can tell what's going to happen with the company is by looking at the CEO. Are they out there sniffing party powder and doing all kinds of crazy stuff? That stock probably isn't going anywhere. Because the company's probably not going to be going anywhere. Now let's see. Apple. Past week they're up for a month, up 4%, down less than 1%. I would say overall, Apple beat the dip as well. Apple did too. Let's look at Google. Now, if you didn't know, Google is actually Alphabet A and B, right? That's what this is. This is Google right here. So in the past month, they're up 14%. Bar none, they beat the dip. I bet you. See, down they're down 0.1, a tenth of a percent. Google is winning. Let's look at Meta. Meta's down 12%. I bet they got slammed. They definitely got slammed. In the past week, down a little over 5%, 5.25%. So if we're talking about Fantastic Seven, some of them actually won. Let's go back to Nvidia. See, Jensen Huang, y'all should know who this is. This guy runs a $5 trillion company. I always spell his name wrong, but whatever. This is him. I guess I did spell it right because it was copying what I had spelled before. But look, this is Jensen. This is him. 62 years old. He's running a $5 trillion company. Now, he wasn't the founder of NVIDIA, but he did take over and he did... my speaker. That's because no one has said anything from the chat for a while, so it turns off after like 10, 20 minutes. I don't know. There we go. But this is him. Start knowing these guys. All right, let me move on to something else because we talked about TSM. I have a lot of stocks on here I was actually going to cover. We just don't have the time to do it because the wife and I are about to roll out. So I told her I would try and keep this as close to an hour as I could. I'm going to try to be good today. Chat, anything to mic up about, anything to chat over, you let me know. If y'all raise a hand in the chat or something, I'll know that you want to actually say something or put a mic. I don't know. I don't know how you want to do it. All right. Let's look at the... Wow. I forgot he could do sound effects. He was doing that last week. Let's look at the car company I posted last week. Actually, can I copy this link? Copy message link. All right, let's go back to the live. No, just go back to it. I guess. Okay, how do you come off of this one? There we go. All right, that was tougher than it needed to be. Yep, I see. All right, man. We'll see you. Thanks for tuning in. No, I don't want that. What's this company called? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Olympian Motors. I'll just look at that. This is getting tough. That's how you can tell who's not tech savvy. All right, Olympian Motors. I posted this because they, I guess, are looking for crowdfunding, or they're utilizing crowdfunding for their funding rounds. Electric, aesthetic, modular. So that's Olympian Motors. Now, we've heard of modular homes, which is what some of us got into this year. Inboxable, I think they closed out their investing round sometime in May or June. And now they're going to IPO with FGMC. And so at $10 a share, and they let you invest with as little as $1,000 at 80 cents per share. So we'll check them out too. But let's look at this really quickly. I don't know what a modular car is, right? So we're going to look at that. If they don't explain, then we're just going to Google it. Olympian Motors introduces next gen electric vehicles for 21st century. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not investing in anything with wheels. I said that, except Boxable. Now, I did have Tesla stock. I jumped out of Tesla a couple years ago. I don't actually regret it because the companies that I invested in, as you can see with how I showed the progression of my portfolio, I actually did very well. I don't regret jumping out of Tesla. Their CEO needs to stay grounded. And I think with him being on Doge in the government and out there wilding out, party powder, and all the kind of stuff that he was into, which he gets to do. That's his thing, allegedly. He gets to do all of that stuff, but I just don't think that CEO is focused. And so for me, I invested in something else. Now, um, the biggest concern I have with electric cars is their battery. Now, that's just me. Now, you may have another concern. When you talk Tesla, they're using lithium ion. When you talk, all of them are going to be using lithium ion. But what's the next battery technology? Does anybody know? I'm looking for if a car company is going to start using the next gen battery, that's what I want to see. I saw this about 2 years ago, maybe. Toyota plans to launch its first solid state battery EVs between 2027 and 2028. Now, look at that. What the heck is a solid state battery? That's what we need to know. But look at this. Toyota has claimed a prototype solid state battery pack could deliver a range of 745 miles. Now, when I saw the article a year or two ago, it was about 1,000 kilometers on a single charge. And it said new batteries could charge in under 10 minutes. I think it said something outrageous like 30 minutes or something. But if it can charge in under 10 minutes, hey, I'm with that. Now, here's my thing. Would you still be able to utilize like the Tesla charging stations you can have in the house? And would they charge in under 10 minutes using that? Or are we talking about a supercharger? And if you're talking about a supercharger, are you talking about 150 kilowatt, 250 kilowatt, 350 kilowatt? If you didn't know, there are stages to chargers out there. And so which one are you talking about? There's no details in there. So in under 10 minutes. Now, if it's talking about 350 kilowatt, that's still going to be pretty fast if you're using the Tesla charging stations, or like I have a 40 amp outlet in my garage right underneath my Tesla charging station. The previous owner of the house had a different electrical panel built, and he has the little 40-watt plug. So when I got my Tesla, I went to their store and bought a plug head. I took the 12 amp one off and put the 41 on there. It charges it just as fast as the charging station. So there's some nuance there. And then for you guys that don't know and never had one of these batteries, that 100% shrinks over time. So it may have been advertised in 2018 for 260 miles, but now, like my battery, and this is not allegedly, when it charges to 100%, I'm only getting like 188, 186. And that matters because I have a 75-mile commute one way. So I do 150 miles at least with that car a day, Monday through Friday, right? And so I need that battery because that's the only reason I got it. I want the range and I don't want to have to spend on the gas. Now, I could buy a diesel, right? But that technology is going away slowly but surely, I think. And diesel's gotten so expensive because everybody's running to it. Ain't that something? You got a country that's supposed to love their citizens, and as soon as supply demand goes up, bam, so does the price. But if the supply is low, whatever. Anyway, so solid state batteries could replace the flammable electrolyte in traditional lithium ion batteries with a solid material, which can lower the risk of fire. So that's a concern, right? When those lithium ion batteries get to burning, it's kind of tough to put them out. It's kind of like they use magnesium brakes on some of the aircraft, or most of them probably in the Navy, because it stops them very quickly. But if that magnesium ever catches fire, it's self-oxidizing, so it will burn until it doesn't. Um, Solid state design could lead to more compact and lighter battery packs, contributing to overall vehicle efficiency. Now, why? Because lithium ion is heavy. My Model 3 is a base single motor Model 3, and that thing is 3,800 pounds. They did crash tests on those for the metal guardrails they have on the side of the highway. Think about it. Everything has to be different if you have heavier cars rolling around. That thing cracked the barrier and almost pushed through about halfway at like 50 miles an hour. But that Rivian truck punched right through it and kept going to the other side. But the Rivian truck is like 6,000 pounds. So just think about that. Decreased weight will actually allow you to get more range out of it because it's lighter. And when they say prototype, that prototype probably doesn't have all the seats in it. It doesn't have all the amenities, so it's not as heavy. So your prototype, how much heavier would the production car be? So see, there are things that you need to think about when you're thinking about. And if I've already blown your mind with the questions I'm talking about now, what's the question mark for? What do you got? Thank you for joining us, by the way. But whatever you got, just throw it in the chat. I'll talk about it. But the production car will have the back row seats in it. It'll have the passenger seats in it. It'll have the cup holders in it. It'll have other things in it that the prototype typically doesn't have. The prototype will be a skeleton looking car sometimes, and they just want to test it. So how much heavier will the production car be than the prototype, if that's what you were talking about? The solid state, I read that already. Oh, let's go over I didn't realize there was some stuff in the chat. Okay. You posted about Dan Cathy. Yep, the Cathy family. Yep, they founded Chick-fil-A. You want to hear what Xavier has to say? Xavier, you got anything? I'm guessing you're talking about like investments and stuff. I figured if he had something, he would mic up. You know, that's our real estate guy right there. You know what I'm saying? Contract man.
Right now, I'm just listening to you guys go about the stock market, and from the real estate part, I'm not. There's not much what I have right now, but once I get something, I'll let you guys know.
Thank you, good sir. I knew you was a true blue, genuine guy when I met you. With a beard like that, you got to trust that guy. You're stupid with these sound effects, man. All right, so you were gonna mic up, not if they're investable. So why invest? He's still deployed. So he's gonna be typing because he's not gonna sound good. He said that. No, he didn't. Hey, that was him, man. That was him. Listen, DM me. I'll tell you his real name and his address. All right. I'm just kidding. I know where you live. Anyway, next week the SPY has to stay above 665, or we would get that 10% pullback weekly chart. Okay. Or we would get that 10% pullback weekly chart is looking heavy. All right. So Y Invest is one of our traders in here, not traitor. He is a trader. He day trades. And he's good at it. He is good at it. This guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. So I'm going to be learning from him because I do leaps only when you talk about options trading. I do leaps. I wouldn't even say a year. I go two and beyond typically. Now, have I actually cashed him out in a year? Yes, I have done some of that, but He's our day trader. So I definitely am looking to learn from him, especially when he gets back from deployment. I'm sure he's here all the time when he can be. So I'm sure he's going to mic up and teach a clinic. So I'm looking forward to that. I can't have my phone during the day. I work in a secret building, so and no day trading for me right now. You're gonna chat and explain about the spy. You've got info that would make me a millionaire. Yeah, he's typing right now. I'm gonna cover as soon as whatever he types. But look, this is some of the stuff that if I was going to invest in an electric car company, which Tesla is tech, but Tesla is an electric car company that has a tech component and AI component. Let's just put it like that, in my humble opinion. I don't think it, and I said it the reverse way, like the beginning of the year, that it was a tech company that made cars. I think the bulk of its money is coming from the car. So it is definitely automotive. It is an electric car company with a tech component that utilizes AI, right? And I think that's the most correct way to put it, right? Now, if they also had computers, if they also had, I don't know, if they also, if, yeah, I don't know, if they also made chips and stuff like that, okay, different. But if the bulk of your revenue is coming from automobiles, you're an automotive company. That's just it. But these are some of the questions I would have before I would get into an investment dealing with these cars and skepticism. So Toyota, to my knowledge, was one of the first companies to use hybrids that I had seen. And I remember around 2011 or 12, they were talking about bringing engineering students out of school to use that friction braking, where they would return that power back to the battery. And they've successfully done that, right? So it sounded crazy, but they're like, well, think about it. You have all that momentum. When you stop, there's friction that is caused, and all of that power, where does it go? It's lost. So they developed a system that returns it to the little battery in the car. So let's see. So the charts I posted a week ago, I was calling out this pullback that we had. If you open your weekly and add the indicator 9 SMA. Oh, is this a 9-day moving average? Is that what that's called? And add RSI and MACD candles above. Non-SMA is the trend below. The SMA will start a new trend to the downside. Yes. Aha. 9-day moving average. Look, I'm learning a little bit, man. You know what I'm talking about. I got it. Look, when you come back, we are going to need you to put on a clinic, because Alpha Delta, he came on twice and taught about options. But it just in general, he taught about options just in general. And we pretty much do leaps. Now he's done some short ones. I'm not risking it with that, but yeah, we need you to put on a clinic, my man. Okay, so let's get to this car company. Let's see what they about. Not talking about TUMBOUT. Okay, hold on. This is still a foreign language to me. I hope to at least be at least adept with it by the time you get back. Godspeed while you're out there. Yeah, man. Thank you for your service. All right. So let's see what they're talking about with this modular car. I see the time. I got it. Modular cars. Modular cars are vehicles designed with interchangeable, swappable major components such as the chassis, powertrain, and body panels. Oh, so I'm guessing you can take the whole top shell off of the car and make it look differently, like this picture right here on Reddit. Okay, it went away. Okay, well, it was on there. That picture right there. So that's what I'm guessing this is. All right, so it's saying experience over cliche, aesthetics, simplicity, steel and wood over plastic, and chemicals, silence over noise. So they have these like Dick Tracy 1920s, 1930s, almost Model T looking style cars, which is classic. I actually like it. It's almost Volkswagen Beetle isk, but now you see they have the almost the Tesla truck design. They have a what is that? A mystery machine, almost Volkswagen van design, and I don't know what that is behind it. But this is Olympian Motors, and look, you can see the base price for these $80,000. So this is a luxury brand. This is luxury brand pricing. This is like what's it called? What's that company that the head engineer started? Air Lucid. Um, so 80K in the range they're talking 210, 205, 335. So the range, that's a huge difference though when you look at the range. That's over 130 miles for this one. That's a huge range difference. Now this 60 grand van, okay, but it's small. And see, look, skateboard, look at that. That's just a skeleton. Now that range should get more than the other ones because it's stripped down. But I'm guessing, I don't know if you could just buy it and drive it. Like, I doubt you can drive that on the road like that. I very much doubt that. But this is kind of cool. So I got an email about this where they said you can invest in this right now for $4.25 is why I posted it in the group. Which brings me to, I can't get to it this week, but I'll talk about it. Start Engine, I did bring it up. I see it right here. Start Engine has a bunch of companies that are utilizing crowdfunding that you can look through. I'll probably post a link. I'll post this link in the Discord so you guys can go and check it out. I'll do that now. So if you want to go check out some companies that are startups and you think it's a good idea, you can go get into that right now. But I can't get to the other stuff I wanted to get to. I guess I was a little eager beaver. But I don't have time. I'm running out of time. So I'm going to leave you with some notes for this week, okay? And I'll probably post some of this stuff. Let me talk about this one right here. This guy, Reuben Harris. So this was EYL episode 134. I posted this last week or yesterday. Yesterday, I went back and found it. This guy right here he's definitely a millionaire now. He had a tech startup and he went through this thing called Y Combinator. Never heard of it before, but Y Combinator apparently is something where if you have a startup idea, you can go to them and they have like a school, or how I understood it is that you'll go be there for a while. And they put engineers and people together who are going to work on the idea. They work on getting you angel investors. They work on getting you a business plan, how it's going to run, all of that kind of stuff. And Y Combinator puts it all together with angel investors and help you IPO and actually become a company. And this guy right here was the guy, Reuben Harris, that actually talked about it. It's a very good watch. But listen, if you want to put all of your knowledge together, I'm telling you, this is the kind of stuff you need to be watching. Don't scroll through Instagram with the 45-degree neck tilt and just with your thumb flicking up in the air all day. Don't be a zombie drooling at the phone. Put headphones in. You can wash dishes, do laundry, cut grass, and just listen to it. You don't need to look at the guy's eyeballs. Listen to it. And then if you heard points that you want to go back and take notes, put it on again. It's not going to hurt you to listen to it again. Just flip to those sections and take notes. So that's one of the things I'll leave you with. If you have Robinhood on your phone, go to IPOs. Look at IPOs. initial public offering, right? Look at the IPOs, that the companies that have actually IPO'd, and then see, the desktop is a little different, but look at the companies that are actually IPO'd and see if they're still up. I need to learn how to navigate the desktop a bit more. That's my fault. I'm always on it on the phone. So let me see, IPO. All right, launched. And the reason I'm saying this is because I don't typically invest in IPOs. I do not. I'm trying to see what it's showing y'all. So Phoenix just launched recently and it's up less than 1%. Fermi is up 17%. Pattern is up 22. StubHub's down 17. Via, whatever that is up 10%. Gemini is down 42%. Figures up 47%. Klarna is down 9%, almost 10. Bullish is up 23%. Figma, which I had one share of, 35%. Circles up 236. Arrows up 36. CoreWeave is up 164. Bird is down 60. Reddit, the champion of IPOs this year, I would say last year too, 476%. Reddit has not fallen. Guts down 92%. ARM is up 200%. Instacart's up 23. NU 76%. They're up. Iris Energy, Iron, up 127. Braze down 56. Sweet Green down 79. Backblaze, different company, down 62. Expensify down 94. Nerd Wallet down 24. Coco up 180. Argo down 97. Brilliant Earth down 76. Riskified down 77. Now, Robinhood IPO back in 2021. Robinhood would be your number 2 MVP for IPOs that they have listed here. It's up 246% from when it IPO'd. Just 4 more. Teed Holdings down 96. Duolingo's up 98%. Duolingo is also spread out though. Now they're doing math courses, not just foreign language and stuff. So Duolingo is way more flexible than they used to be, or versatile. Clear Secure is up 15%, and Figs is down 61%. So don't always stay away from IPOs just to stay away from IPOs, because they may not fall again to a good price that you might want to buy in. Know what the company is about before it IPOs. I tell you what, we're going to kick some of these subjects to next week. So I'll put a topic, I'll put an arrow, a right-facing arrow on them right now. IPOs, we'll talk about next week. ChatGPT, summarize an earnings call, talk about next week. Start Engine, we'll explore that next week. Boxable and FGMC IPO, we'll explore that next week. I'll just say this, they are supposed to IPO before the year is out at $10. And Robinhood does not have it. And then the last thing I want to go over for next week, I'm just going to tell you about it. And I might have to kick this to a different week because it's probably going to be a longer topic, is family tree health. I'm going to go over what your family tree health looks like. When you look at a regular tree, you look at the trunk of the tree and see if it's all knotted and spotted and molded, or look at if the bark is nice and crisp, and you look at how thick the trunk is, how tall the tree is. You look at the branches. Do they look sturdy or are they flimsy? As soon as you pull this much, 5 degrees, snap, the whole thing comes off. That's probably not a healthy tree. You look at the leaves. You look at you look at what's on the ground during the seasons where it's supposed to be healthy, if things are falling off, if it's droopy versus standing up. and we're going to take a look at what your family tree looks like. Is your family tree slouched? Is your family tree sick and weakly looking? What kind of dirt is it planted in? Are there pesticides and parasites all over your family tree, hurting your family tree? We're going to take a look at the financial, physical, mental, spiritual, and relational aspect of family trees. And this is a financial topic as well, but this is, I think this is really going to help some people. So I'll whet your appetite for that. And thank you guys for joining me again on another Saturday. Does anybody have any last words before I close it out? From the chat, did I miss anything? No?
Last words.
All right, last words, yeah. Oh, that's all you had to say? I'm going to give yourself the womp, womp, womp. All right, they have style, but do they have utility? Are they a gag coming out of the gate versus 3 years down the road? Will they be like Lucid? I don't know, and this is why I don't invest in automotive. But if you can answer the questions that I had when it comes to automotive, that battery is probably going to be your best bet if you can figure out that are they using solid state or are they using lithium ion. So if you look at an automotive company, there's more questions than that I would have. But if you can just start with those, if you don't remember what I'm talking about, just go back and watch the video. I'm sorry I didn't timestamp this one. I was trying to get to a lot of topics, so I won't have timestamps in this one. So I don't have time to even watch it back and timestamp it because the wife and I have to go. So I'm just going to upload this one like I would do every week. And you guys can go back and look at it if you want to. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Even if you ain't going to watch it, open it, like it, share it with somebody you think it would help. And I will see you guys next week. All right. Signing off for Just Going Cold. Thank you for joining me.